today we have a great guest. Her name is Kirsten Hill. She is a registered dietitian here in San Diego, and she works with seniors and has had some personal stories that she's going to tell us as well. So welcome very much for coming in today.
Thank you, Patty. I really appreciate it. Yeah, senior health is really near and dear to my heart. I did my internship at the VA in La Jolla for about a year, and so that was my first impact with seniors and health, and it was pretty eye-opening. I mean, the vets that we saw, they had multiple diseases going on. It wasn't just cancer, it wasn't just diabetes, it was like 3 or 4 comorbidities going on at the same time. It was like, whoa, what am I stepping into here? And I almost felt helpless, to be honest, because at that point it was such a reactive point of care. Hospital food, as we know, is not nutritious. It's not going to help them heal.
Well,
And
why is that?
that's a good question. I really wish we could do something better about that.
We got Sharp. God love you all. Sharp,
Yeah.
Scripps, Kaiser.
Yeah.
Is it just because it's I don't want to.
Yeah.
Is it because it's made on a mass scale? Or,
Yeah, I mean, that's part of it. The funding's part of it. There's a lot of different dynamics to it. Some of it being that the people at the top don't have the same fundamental core values about nutrition and how it can help heal your body. And that's, I believe, where a lot of it really stems from, is they just don't have the same kind of personal value about nutrition and what it does for your body. And so that was really hard for me to be there and know that, you know, what I was stepping into. And I did my best. I mean, you can do so much as an intern. You're really absorbing a lot and kind of and just doing kind of a full scan of, like, wow, this is reality for a lot of these people. And a lot of them didn't want to change either at that point, because it was just, they felt like, this is the end for me. And at this point it's too late and I don't want to do it. It's too much work. And so that was pretty impactful. That was really impactful. And so that was my first experience with kind of health and seniors. It was like, wow, okay, this is a lot. And then I ended up working in long-term care, which is with seniors.
A rehab type of facility?
Well, not a lot of them were permanent residents. So
Okay.
Some of them were in and out, but some of them, they were there to stay. And again, that was like they were subject to kind of cruddy food, stuff that wasn't healing. They were on multiple medications, and a lot of them were on tube feedings. So, they weren't even getting the palatability of food into their mouth. And that's really depressing. So, there's so many emotions around food that affect, your well-being that, again, it's like, gosh, wow. I mean, if we could just be more proactive instead of reactive. And so that was my decision. I wanted to be in more proactive care rather than reactive care, because I couldn't feel like I was making a difference. I mean, I was kind of sustaining people at that point.
Well, there's a nutritional value to meals, but there's also a
Yeah,
social value.
there is huge social value. And a lot of them became so isolated and depressed and wouldn't even get out of their rooms, and then they don't want to eat. And then, that's kind of the end of that. So, that was my experience with long-term care. And then most recently, near and dear to my heart, was the passing of my grandpa. And he was a vet, and he just loved that I worked at the VA, and we always had kind of a special bond over that because he had so much of his care through the VA. And the VA was really wonderful to him. I mean, saved his life multiple times with a lot of procedures that he had done. But, nutrition was something that he really faltered with. And we had a lot of discussions about it, but at some point, your habits are so ingrained, and, family, as we know, is the hardest to convince
You trust me?
about
Been there, done that.
about doing the right things. They just become a little bit obstinate. So it was really hard to see the decline of Grandpa, and ultimately he passed a few months ago, and so that was really hard. So I really like this opportunity to get vocal about this topic and educating seniors when they're in their earlier years about how to take care of themselves better and fuel themselves better, so that they can have more of an enjoyable later years and not feel like they're just kind of suffering or getting through it. So
Do you think, obviously it's important for seniors to have good nutrition, but do you think us as baby boomers are more aware and are doing a better job when you look at, let's say, the 55 to 65 age group versus the 80 to 90 age group. Do you think we're doing a better job?
I do think we are doing a better job. I think a lot more nutritional information is getting out there, and we're becoming more aware of how to make better choices. It also depends on kind of the environment you're in and kind of who you're surrounding yourself with, because there is also a lot of misinformation about what's healthy. So I think knowing your sources and checking your facts on what you're kind of taking is to be truthful or not is also really important. But but however, type 2 diabetes, as we know, is on the rise, and that is like just going rampant, and not only in adults but now in children. And so we have got to do and be more proactive.
What is your recommendation? I mean, what are we eating that we should not be eating, or what's the
like
formula?
looking at optimal health. Yeah,
Right.
so I believe that a good foundation builds any strong kind of healthy diet, and that's across the board, whether you're a child or whether you're an adult. I mean, the earlier you can start the good foundation, the better earlier than later. But basically focusing on whole, minimally processed foods, getting your food as close to the natural state as possible, choosing, as we know, fresh fruits and vegetables. I have a preference toward organic and locally grown because you're getting more nutrition from those sources. I do suggest trying to, support farmers markets rather than the commercial chains, because I mean, the vitamins and nutrition is just more depleted. It's in transport, it's coming from, other places, it's kind of artificially ripened. So it's, the nutritional quality isn't as peak as it could be. We're not getting as many, optimally vitamins and minerals as we could be. So that's, why I stress organic with your fruits and vegetables, and also for the reason of pesticides being on your fruits and vegetables. And there are more studies coming out that when people are getting tested, they are finding high levels of pesticides in our bodies. That's not okay. So there's your fresh fruits and vegetables. And I stress when you can, that's not everybody can't, but when you can, looking at your animal products, your meats, again, grass-fed, organic when you can. We want to stay away from those synthetic hormones in the meats because they go right into our body. We don't want to be looking like a cow, so let's avoid that. Yeah, exactly.
So, I mean, is your practice, if somebody were to come to you, let's say if I were to come to you, you would put a meal plan. And let's talk about, let's say, an 80-year-old isolated senior, and they're relying on somebody coming and bringing them meals. Are those is those like hospital meals? I mean, are they
Meals on wheels?
Yeah, it depends on the situation. Too, a lot of your packaged foods are full of preservatives, sodium. It leads to blood pressure issues. And just kind of exacerbates chronic diseases. So, it'd be best to kind of limit those things. But if that's your only option, I mean, it's better than nothing. The nice thing about today is there's a lot of great meal subscription services that are offering fresh, organic, local foods within a timely manner to prepare them. So that's so great to see that today. I mean, even for myself, when I come home late and I'm like tired, I'm like, man, I don't want to, throw together a meal. So, it even affects your professionals like your dietitians. They are, are not immune to, trying to put together healthy meals themselves. So we get it. So it is nice to have some of those more subscription-based services that's just a mouse click away, and could be better alternatives than what we're used to in the past.
And is that your practice, to put together a meal plan for anybody? Obviously?
Absolutely, yeah. And it's, again, tailored to the individual because we all have individual needs. And with that being said, sometimes things we think are healthy, and like, for example, strawberries could be healthy to some person, but they have an allergy for somebody else. So just keeping a flexible, open mind, and I always stress variety, balance, color are kind of the main things you want to kind of key in on for kind of good health regarding nutrition.
Are there specific deficiencies you see more often in seniors? Like it seems like, there's the supplement of the year that comes
Definitely.
out. So
I know. Yeah, there are very common deficiencies. Magnesium actually being one of them, that such an abundant mineral in the body, and it has like over 300 functions. And there's actually have a quote here by a famous neurosurgeon, and he said that every known illness is associated with a magnesium deficiency, and it's the missing cure to many diseases. That is a really powerful statement.
Really?
Approximately
We'll get
80%, approximately 80% of people are deficient in magnesium. And that is such a common thing to
Because they're not eating the
avoid.
fresh vegetables.
That's part of it, yeah, definitely. And the other part of it is the soil is different today. Our soil, our farming practices, again, we're just not getting the ideal amount of nutrition in our fresh fruit and produce that we should be. So in something as simple as magnesium, which is like such a staple mineral, it's like more and more people are becoming deficient. And it's like, wow, even myself, I was deficient in magnesium. I got tested. I'm deficient. I was like, this is incredible. I'm a nutritionist. How am I deficient in this mineral? This is insane. So something as simple as kind of making sure that you get your blood work values done and checked, at least once a year. Establishing a relationship with a good provider so that you can kind of look at those things on a cellular level and get a hold of them earlier before later. Some symptoms of magnesium deficiency, and again, they're kind of general. They could be related to other things, but leg cramps, migraines, insomnia, fatigue, those are symptoms of magnesium deficiency and can easily be prevented. I bought myself a bottle of magnesium spray, which is a little safer to sometimes use and go to first than a supplement because you have a little bit more control over the amount that you're pumping. It's more readily absorbed and you don't really have to worry about digestive issues related to a little bit excessive amount of magnesium. Diarrhea can be a common side effect. So if you're a little fearful of that, the magnesium.
You spray it on you?
Yeah, you literally spray it on you.
Like where?
Yeah, you can spray it on your stomach. If you get leg cramps, spray it on your leg.
Really?
Yeah.
And you can buy that over the counter?
Yeah, you can. Your
Who
local
knew?
health food store. Yeah, it's a great little tip. Telling you, everyone probably should have a bottle of magnesium spray in
Tip
their
of the
cabinet.
day.
Tip of the day, get that magnesium spray.
Because that's that's what you hear most of.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a huge issue
It's
as you age.
Enormous, yeah. And especially as you start to kind of have less of an appetite, again, you're putting yourself at
That
greater
hasn't been a
risk.
problem. But anyway.
But even if you're under a great deal of stress, whether that's emotional or kind of physical, that can deplete your magnesium. So you're more at risk if you have digestive issues, type 2 diabetes, you're under stress. Those put you in an even greater category of risk for magnesium deficiency.
Interesting.
Another one is fiber, which we do hear a lot about, but the recommendation being 25 to 30 grams of fiber. Again, you're getting it from your
That's
whole.
a lot.
Yeah, it is a lot. And the average that we're getting today is about 15 grams. So that's about less than half or so of the recommended amount. And then you don't want to go and just kind of full blast yourself up to that 35 grams the next day because you're going to be barreled over in cramps. You do want to make these changes gradually. But yeah, fiber important for intestinal health, for weight loss, for supporting the body's natural detoxification roles. So pretty easy fix there with fiber, getting enough of it.
What about water intake?
That's my next
And
one. You read my
electrolytes.
mind, yeah.
Well, but, okay, now here's my deal with water. I love water. I have no problem with water.
Where's
But
your water up here?
Well, actually, here's my
Hey,
water.
good.
Here's my water. But as we age,
Yes.
the more, and not, you know what happens.
Mm-hmm.
And if I drank as much water as I was supposed to, I wouldn't be able to get through this interview.
Yes.
So what do I do?
Yeah, that's a good question. So, and also with that being said, is we kind of lose the cueing for when we become thirsty as we age. So we actually end up being more dehydrated. And again, that's
I
a
believe.
problem, yeah. So what I recommend is, again, like you showed your water bottle, that's a great thing, is start carrying a water bottle around with you in your car, put them in strategic locations reminding you to drink the water. I even suggest going as far as maybe setting a timer every 30 minutes to an hour to make sure that you can,
That's a good
get those
idea.
fluids in. And it doesn't have to be water. Water isn't the only thing that counts to keep you hydrated. I mean, it could be teas. Don't always suggest going to caffeine, but that does
Herbal tea is
count.
okay?
Yeah, definitely herbal tea.
Well, Starbucks, here I come.
But yeah, fluid is huge, definitely. And it's, our body, as we know, is mostly water, so it's important for keeping all the functions in the body.
So is it again based on your weight, how much you should drink?
You know what? There's so much controversy about that recommendation, and it's so dependent on your environment, whether you're living in a warmer climate, a cooler climate. By the time you're thirsty, you're already dehydrated. So again, stay ahead of the curve. Just, start drinking, maybe 8 to 16 ounces every hour or so.
Every hour?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I love you.
Yeah.
I mean, I believe in it 110%. It's just when I try to fulfill that obligation, there's other things that I need to fill. So I mean,
Right,
it's just,
right. Yeah, you have to do your best.
Sorry
You
for the
do.
graphic. But no, I mean, I believe it because I can tell the difference.
Yeah, absolutely. Energy levels too, it makes a difference. It also depends on if if you're a big outdoor active person, if you work out a lot, you're sweating more, you're losing more water and your electrolytes, so you do need to kind of replenish. And so again, but just becoming aware of your routines so that you know how to stay well hydrated.
So, would part of your service, like if Patty and I work with a lot of seniors, and we are constantly seeing we're in their home. They invite us over, and we see what's in the refrigerator. We're just going, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So is that part like you would come in and for a
Absolutely.
consultation fee,
Yeah.
help them help themselves?
Definitely.
Move in that better
Yeah,
direction.
I pretty much have a broad spectrum of capabilities to do in nutrition counseling, whether it be meal planning or coming and doing like a pantry makeover, which is always fun. It sounds so glamorous, right? It's just like, oh, pantry makeover. Sounds like kind of a Martha Stewart thing.
Yeah, I like that idea.
You might be shocked at the dates on some
Yeah.
of the things in the
Oh
pantry.
my
Oh,
gosh.
gosh,
My
yeah.
mom's gonna hate me for saying this, but we did a whole makeover in her pantry, and we ended up donating about 200 pounds of canned goods.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's a lot. But she felt so good after. I mean, it's surprisingly, you can feel so bogged down by just being overwhelmed with what's in your cabinets. So.
So we're going to give you, we're running out of time, we're going to give you a last chat as to what message, besides drinking lots of water, that you would like to get across to our, it's been fabulous. I mean, I'm a big believer in nutrition and exercise. We'll get rid of a lot of pills.
Yes.
If we could just get everybody on the right path for nutrition and exercise.
Yes.
Maybe the pharmaceuticals would do a little less business. God love you all for pharmaceuticals. But
Yeah.
give you last
So one of
word.
my favorite quotes is an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. So really just looking at being, again, more proactive with your care, kind of looking at what your daily intake is. Are you recognizing maybe that you're eating more processed food than you should be? What are little areas? I would suggest, 1 to 2 small tweaks, or goals to focus on, because it can be a very daunting, overwhelming task, as we know. And then people just say, it's too much. I'm so overwhelmed. I don't know what to do. And then you don't end up doing anything. So pick 1 to 2 major things that you think you could improve. And those are your stepping stone
Or
points.
call you and have you
or
come out
call me
for a pantry
for
makeover.
that pantry
I think that-
makeover.
we'll get all the people together on the street and have I think that's a great idea.
Absolutely.
Instead of makeover, we'll have a pantry makeover.
Well, we can do both.
We can do both.
That's
Okay.
another segment.
That's another. Anyway, it's been a thrill to have you here
Thank
today.
you so
Thank you so much.
much.
It's been very enlightening. And magnesium, I'm going out right today
Yeah.
to get that spray.
magnesium.
So stay tuned for more Senior Stay or Go TV.